Hi everyone, it's Kathy P here. Welcome to my channel. This is my first video, so the editing is terrible, but I hope I get better. I'll learn. I am just learning. I'm an old goat. However, I left this screen recording the way it is, the way Molly posted it, so that you could see that Molly's actually commenting on this video. It just never ceases to amaze me the depths this woman goes to spew all her misinformation. And for her to co-sign this and put this video out there is just beyond. Again, this is my first video, and this is covered under fair use commentary, and it is just my opinion. Well, let's get into it. It's a lot. This is a TikToker who has no idea what she's talking about. And you'll see in this video, she clearly knows nothing. Let's have at it.
So I have a message for Dre McCrae. You need clinical help. You yourself need clinical help. And you can send as many people as you want after me. I am ready. But people need to know that you are an evil person and you are trapping this man who has been in a domestic abuse relationship for years.
Okay, first off, Dre don't care about you. You're nobody to her. She won't even waste her time watching your TikTok, as no one should, because you are nothing but a junior Molly in training. This is not a domestic V situation in any way. What is going on here had nothing to do with DV. What happened here was a young man, a husband, a father, tried to unalive himself. That is what happened here. It is not a DV situation. Let's continue.
If you don't know the story about Dre and McCrae, I highly suggest that you simply just go on YouTube. You can even Google it, but I will give you a brief summary here.
Okay, she's telling everyone to Google it or go on YouTube or Facebook. She clearly didn't take her own advice, because had she would never have posted this. She has posted nothing but misinformation. Misinformation cronies. Thank you, nonsense, on borrowing your terms. Let's go.
This couple has been together for many years. Now, Dre has a very different outlook on how medicines and stuff affect the body. It's really more of a holistic approach. She definitely follows Dr. Shivi and his practices, not remembering that he actually died of starvation. The man died of starvation. Let's just put that out there.
Okay, let's just put this out there. They were not starving. Go to Slay with Dre's Facebook page. Watch all the videos. They were always cooking and eating. No one was starving. And Dre wasn't the only one who wanted to follow holistic measures. Marvon himself was. And of course, you can see Miss Molly, the queen of clickbait, commenting on this.
Now, when her husband, Vaughn, started having seizures because of all of the medical stuff, all of the holistic stuff that he was taking, do you know what she does? Nothing. It gets so bad that he has to go to the hospital.
Wait a minute. Molly's typing justice for Marvon. Molly, if there was ever justice to be had, it would never be had in this case, just like any of the cases you've been involved with. You've destroyed the cases, but there is no crime here. There's no justice for Marvon. There was no crime committed. And he didn't go to the hospital because of the diet or the K they were using or any of the herbs they were using. Marwan tried to unalive himself, and it's not the first time. Dre did nothing, absolutely nothing, but love him and try to help him. And this misinformation at this point in time, after months of this, and the proof has been out there, don't take my word for it. Go look yourselves. Go to Nonsense's channel. She's laid it all out so well with all the proof, all the evidence. Other YouTubers have. Down the Rabbit Hole News, Rock a lot of them have put out the truth. But no, Molly still is running this narrative. She's running this narrative and it's wrong. It's wrong on so many levels. Let's continue.
He gets into the hospital and she does not want them to give him any type of a modern medicine. And any hospital that does not want to give him what she's giving him, which of course wouldn't be in a hospital, she moves him to a different hospital.
Okay, I had to stop it right here. Yet again, she's wrong. He was in the hospital because he tried to unalive himself. Dre did everything and is still doing everything for him. Just go watch some videos and stop reporting the misinformation. Let's have at it again.
And she does this 3 times. Now let me talk to you about Von's family and why this is a domestic abuse situation.
It is not a DV situation. Dre did not move him. The hospitals moved him. He was taken by ambulance after his attempt to unalive himself, and that hospital transferred him to a facility that treats his type of injury. He needed specialty care. They couldn't provide him. The doctors made that decision with Dre to move him. Let's keep going.
Von's family lives in a completely different state. When they find out that Von has been hospitalized, they go immediately. They drive 8 hours to see their son, as they should. They get to the hospital, and Dre says they cannot see his son. They cannot see their son. As a matter of fact, she calls security and says that they all have to be escorted out. Then, as they're escorted out, one of the nurses says, "Ma'am, you don't have the ability to tell the family that they can't see their family member in the hospital. It's against our rules. If this is a visitor and it's their family member, they are allowed to see their family member." So she gets pissed.
Okay, first off, they were not escorted out of the hospital by security. Yes, when Mr. Marwan and his wife, Wynette, Mr. Jackson was Marwan's biological father. Marwan was not raised by his biological parents. He was adopted by his great-grandparents as a toddler when he was 3 years old. His biological parents were not involved in his life, were not active in his life, and knew nothing. And no, it was not just an 8-hour drive. Georgia to Arizona is a lot further than 8 hours. She clearly fact-checked nothing. And Dre herself put the video on her Facebook page. She was truly confused at who showed up to see Marwan. She thought it was his biological mother, Letitia. And after everything I've seen posted that Letitia's done and co-signed, I understand why she was scared, why she felt threatened. I would have too. And it was not the nurse, it was hospital administration that said they could see him because under Arizona law, they couldn't not let them in. He was at the VA at this time. And yes, they did spend lots of time with him while they were there, Mr. Jackson and his wife, who was technically Vaughn's stepmother. But again, there was no relationship. There is, Vaughn, in his own words, has said how there was no relationship. And when he did try to build a relationship with his biological mother, she did him so wrong. She basically ripped him off. You can hear it in Vaughn's own words. Dre wasn't isolating Vaughn from his family. Vaughn didn't move out of state to be with his girlfriend. Vaughn had been gone. He was in the military when they met. He is no longer a U.S. Marine, but he was in the military. They never lived in Georgia with his family, as she keeps stating. And Mr. Jackson didn't run right there because, as we all know, it's been posted, due to his situation, he had to have permission to leave the state of Georgia to go to Arizona. This TikToker, I've tried to find this video, but I'm new to TikTok, so maybe it's still there and I just couldn't find it. But I'm hoping not. I'm hoping she did remove it, because everything she has said so far is wrong. Just wrong. I'm tired of saying misinformation. She's just outright lying, because she didn't bother to check anything herself. She's just talking, talking, talking. Let's continue.
And moves him to another hospital. But before she can do that, they actually do testing and they do a physical exam on her husband and find burn marks, they find bruises, and they find cuts, like actual knife cuts on him. And she says, oh, it's because he fell downstairs. For whatever the reason.
Wow. Wow. The stuff she just stated. She clearly did nothing. Didn't even bother to read the police report. Marwan tried to unalive himself. When Dre took him down, he hit his arm because that's where he landed. She's a small woman. She was trying to hold him. She couldn't maintain the weight all by herself. She did CPR on her husband. For Christ's sake, this is insane that you are spewing this stuff. He did not have burns all over his body. He did not have knife cuts all over his body or bruising all over his body. There was a rope burn. There was a bruise on his arm. And that's it. Stop the misinformation. Let's go on.
He is sent back home into his wife's custody because she has power of attorney over her husband's medical decisions, financial decisions, and anything else. So she goes back home, I suppose, nurses him back to health.
Okay, first off, she clearly knows nothing about marriage. Because when you are married, in cases when something like this happens, yes, the spouse does have power of attorney and should. Vaughn was never discharged into Dre's care. Dre never took him home. Nor was she the one doing all the transferring. It was the doctors transferring him to the proper medical facility to get him the care he needed for his brain injury. That was not Dre doing it. And again, she never took him home to care for him. I'm sure she'd love to, because all you got to do is watch the missing puzzle pieces, and you watch their videos. You can see the love they have for each other. That man looks at her, and you can see the light in his eyes. You can see the love he has for her. You can see the love and respect she has for him. And to just say this stuff is just beyond, and it's so frustrating, and I'm starting to get really mad, and I'm sorry, but it's just really starting to piss me off. Let's continue.
Which is not quite accurate. She doesn't really nurse him back to health. She gives him all of these herbs, these natural remedies, cranium or whatever. She gives him all these herbs, and I guess he's getting better, but he has lost 50 pounds at least.
Okay, she never had him at home. She was never force feeding him anything. And yes, K is used by a lot of people. A lot of natural herbs are, and used properly, they can do a lot for you. But this misinformation is why things are the way they are. And Molly, shame on you. Shame on you for posting this. And Justin, you too. Let's continue.
He looks terrible. If you look at a before and after picture, because this is a man that was in the Marines. He's either in the Marines or he was in the Army. This was a man that was perfectly built, probably weighed 210 pounds, muscle and everything. And now he is down to, at the time that he has left the hospital, now that he's back into her care, he has lost over 110 pounds. And he's still in a vegetative state. When I mean a vegetative state, he's at home, but he's only in bed. There's nothing he can do. He can't move his arms. He can't move his legs. I have no idea why the hospital decided to release him from the hospital care into her care, but this was her wish. And because she has power of attorney as his wife, that is what they did. They sent him back to the home that caused the bruises, the burn marks, the cuts, all because of a fall. Now, I've been saying this for years.
Okay, the fall happened when he was cut down because it was a lot of weight for little Dre to hold. He was not burned and cut with a knife. There was not burns and cuts and bruises all over his body. This is so wrong that she's saying this stuff. And the hospital never discharged him to Dre, and Dre never took him home.
Years. I've been saying this for years. Nobody believes me. Nobody wants to even acknowledge what I'm saying. Domestic abuse affects men too.
Nobody believes you because you're spewing misinformation. Nothing you are saying is true. This was not a DV situation. This was someone who made a decision to try to unalive himself, to take his own life. That's what this is. It has nothing to do with DV. Quit claiming that it is, and quit claiming that he was at home in her care, because he wasn't. I'm sure Dre wishes that he was, because she'd probably care better for him. But to just keep spewing this stuff is beyond. Beyond.
It affects men as well. It happens all of the time. It affects transgender people as well. It affects everyone. It is not just women. When you isolate a person from their family and move them to a different state, and then, as you're getting married, decide that you want power of attorney over all of their decisions, that is definitely a red flag, and that tells me that this man is in a domestic abuse relationship.
Clearly, she knows nothing about marriage, because when you're married, that's what happens. That's how it goes. This was not anything out of the ordinary. Of course she has medical power of attorney, and of course she has power over their finances and stuff. They were married. They are husband and wife. This is not a DB situation, so all this stuff you just spewed has nothing to do with this case. Dre was not isolating him from anyone. Juan didn't have a relationship with his biological parents. Yes, there was a few phone calls before this happened, but nothing more. Because he himself has stated it over and over again. He was actually in Georgia for a couple weeks, and not one time did he see any of his biological family. None of them. And none of them reach out. They've never met his child. They don't even know Juan and Dre's son. And they don't know Dre. They've never sat and had real conversations with her. Nothing. The sad part is this family should have worked together to get through this, to support each other. But instead, Miss Letitia decided to bring this to social media. She started all the misinformation. She brought it to Facebook with misinformation, asking for money because she was barred from seeing him and there was an order against her from having any contact. None of that is true. That she needed money for lawyers. None of that is true. There was never no order of protection filed against Miss Letitia by Dre or anyone else. There's never been any court filings on anything pertaining to this case. Nothing. It's all outright lies. I'm done calling it misinformation. It's lying. Period. It's lying. People are doing this for clicks and views, and it's pathetic. It's got to stop. And people, if you can't see the truth, it's been out there for months. Like I said, go to Nonsense's channel. Go to Down the Rabbit Hole News. Rock it on. A lot of the creators are putting out the truth. But Nonsense has done it the best. And she only reports facts. Not like this TikToker. Not like Molly and Justin and LB and Goose and the rest of Molly's minions. This was nothing to do with DV. Stop using that and stop comparing it because it has nothing to do with this case. Instead of the family being together, no, Miss Letitia goes to social media asking for money. The drama and the money meant more to her than anything with Juan. They have made a lot of donations. They have gotten donations. And when the truth started coming out and people started asking questions and wanted to see some receipts with all this money, they were attacked. They were doxxed. All their personal information put out. Horrible things said about them and to them. And they had a right to a refund. When you make a donation, any charity has to show what the money is being used for. When they were asked, they were attacked. And they were refused refunds. And yes, police reports were filed. And there was a summons issued for Ms. Bias. And still to this day, they are collecting donations. And she's going into people's posts on Facebook and going after people for asking questions. She started all the misinformation and then got Molly and them involved and let Molly run and Justin run with this narrative and attack and destroy Dre. Any fundraising that was done should have been for Dre and the children because of all of this, Dre's income had to stop. She can no longer do her Facebook page and her makeup channel. She can't do none of that because she has been totally attacked and destroyed. And what this woman is going through is horrific. And then to have Molly and Justin and LB and Goose and the others just keep, and these TikTokers keep attacking her and saying this stuff. I don't know how she's dealing with it all. God bless her. I pray for her and Juan and their children every day. And I pray for a true miracle that someday he will wake up. It's just not looking like that. It's not looking like that. He was with oxygen a long time. Without it, a long time. And I'm getting angry because of the stuff this TikToker is saying. But it is just too much.
It sounds familiar to you? Whether you are a female, whether you are male, if it sounds familiar to you, like the video and send a message. We want justice for Vaughn. The reason why I'm filming this video right now is because this is happening in real time. And this all takes place on Facebook. This all takes place on Facebook. I'm actually on a different platform. My platform is Tic Toc. But this is social media news on every platform. Justice for Vaughn. Now.
Okay, there's no justice for Vaughn. No crime was committed. Dre did nothing. Sadly, Vaughn did this to himself. To himself. Stop blaming her. What justice are you going to get at this point with all this misinformation? Vaughn did this to himself. And instead of his biological family helping and support Dre, they do this. They go to social media, they go to YouTube, and they destroy her. They destroy her.
As of right now, it is exactly 9:12 a.m. He is now being placed in a nursing home. He is 35 years old or somewhere around there, and because they're not getting along in the home, or because he's in a vegetative state, she's unhappy, and allegedly, he is now in a nursing home.
Wow. Wow. He was never home in Dre's care. If you're in a vegetative state, how can you not be getting along? Vaughn has no brain activity. She did not shove him in a nursing home. He's in a long-term care facility because of his brain injury. He's in a coma. There's no brain activity. She contradicts herself in what she says. Maybe that's why I can't find the video. I don't know. Maybe I just didn't look at the right places. But this is so wrong. So wrong. Stop the misinformation already.
Please listen to what I'm saying. If you have a brother, if you have a cousin, if you have a dad, and they're telling you that something doesn't seem right, please, I am begging you, listen to them. It doesn't just affect women, it affects men too. Please, that is my only message. Listen when people say that something doesn't feel right. And the moment that you hear news that someone is moving into a different state to be with their girlfriend or boyfriend, ring the alarm. And you haven't met them? Ring the alarm. Ring the alarm. Isolation is the number one cause. And it's the number one reason that people don't know about these stories of domestic abuse.
She keeps spinning this narrative that it's a DV case, that he's a DV victim. That is not true. That has nothing to do with this at all. Nothing whatsoever. And Vaughn wasn't reaching out telling people anything. He wasn't isolated. He never had a relationship with his biological family. His mother, his great-grandmother who raised him, was in contact with Dre at all times and knows everything. They even went after her and was giving this woman a hard time. Watch the videos. They were getting a camper and stuff, going to Georgia so they could help her clean out the house and help her. She wasn't keeping him from his family. She wasn't isolating from his family. Vaughn himself chose not to have anything to do with his biological parents for his own reasons. He stated it himself. It wasn't because of Dre. She didn't move him out of state when she was his girlfriend. And he was a Marine, not in the Army. Get your facts straight on that at least. Because you got nothing right at all in this video. Nothing. And you shouldn't even have posted this. You're posting about DV, but this case has nothing to do with DV. This is a case of a very depressed young man who tried to unalive himself. And he tried it before. This is a case of a wife who loves her husband, who just wants her husband and her children's father back. Just watch the videos for yourself, is all I'm saying. Not the clips that Molly and Justice for All and LB and Goose have said. Not the stuff that Letitia has had other people write for her and put on Facebook. Watch the truth. It's out there. It's not hard to find. Go to Slave with Dre. Watch their videos. They loved each other. That's so clear to see. So clear to see.
They do it so that they can isolate them from their families. And I've been in a situation like that before. I almost got into a situation like that before, where someone wanted me to move to a different state, away from my family, knowing that if I did that, they have complete control. That's the end of the video. Please listen to what I'm saying.
Okay, look. First off, they chose as a family to buy their home in Arizona and raise their family there. There was no isolation here. This is not, again, not a DV case. And this TikToker should be embarrassed that she posted this video of lies, because it's all lies. It's all lies. And I expected nothing more from Molly, because that's all Molly's done. Any victim or victim's family that she has got involved with, she has destroyed. She is clearly the queen of misinformation, the queen of clickbait. And Molly outright lies. You can see in her own videos. You can catch her in lies. Just watch her for 5 minutes. That's all it takes. And you'll see that she lies. On top of lies. On top of lies. And Justin sits there and co-signs all this behavior. And then they make derogatory racial statements against people. It's insane what this woman does. None of these people should have a platform. None of them should be putting out this stuff. Again, I pray for Vaughn and Dre and their family every day. Every day. And Dre, I just want you to know you have people out here. People are supporting you. People are behind you. And we are so sorry that this has happened to you with social media and with these YouTubers. It's so wrong on so many levels. Well, guys, like I said, this is just my opinion. And all the commentaries covered under fair use. Thanks for watching my first video. If you like it, hit the like button and subscribe. And thanks, guys, for listening. Alright, I'm out.